Hey there. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Tech Tip Tuesday. This is going to be our Christmas edition, by the way, you guys, because we're actually not going to be here next week. But I just wanted to make sure you guys know that this is our Christmas edition. So welcome, everybody. Come on in, make yourself comfy. Bring the hot chocolate, eggnog, whatever you like. But anyway, let's get started. My name's Ken Close. Thanks for being here. I am a Healy World member, like most of you guys here in the United States, engineer, pioneer of Healy, and lover, of course, of the technology. I am joined by our awesome head of operations for the Americas, Jake Barron. Hey, Jake, howdy.
Hey Ken, good evening, everyone.
Introduce who we have as our customer service tonight. Is it?
We have the Christian helping us out in the chat tonight. Thank you so much for being here on the last Tech Tip Tuesday of 2023.
Yay! Well, we're gonna go out with a bang, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
So, welcome, Christian. Thank you for being here. Everybody say hi to Christian. He's going to be our assistant in the back, helping out with you guys' questions and feeding us more information. So, if this is your first Tech Tip Tuesday, well, awesome. This is what we do. We are a chat-based forum where you guys put your questions in the chat, and then myself, Jake, Christian, we will unpack those, and sometimes even some assistance from the audience, right?
Yep.
But we'll unpack those questions, create solutions, and solve the mysteries. Those of you who join us who actually have a ticket you've already maybe put in through customer service, bring those to the table because a lot of times we can solve those in real time as well. What we don't do is we can't really treat, diagnose, prevent, or talk about diseases, disorders, or programs that address such. But we have some resources for that. We can talk about that and how, if you guys have questions around how do I find what program would be for some condition, hey, Healy's got an awesome app for that. So I say we get the party started. Jake, what about you?
That sounds great.
Okay, so um, I don't see any questions yet, but we could chat about what's coming up. You want to talk about what's coming up this week?
Yeah, I think we should. Let me pull up that agenda here just so I can kind of share that as we're going through. Let me
Yeah, there's a
see.
super awesome surprise for you guys this week. I'm excited.
Yes. Sorry, just 1 second.
And by the way, you guys that are here today, if you have folks out there on your team or folks you've talked to, maybe even potential customers that might have questions, I mean, hey, the floor is open. So invite them, click on that little share link for the call and send them the link. Come on in.
Okay, so let's just go over as Ken kind of mentioned. Well, actually, let's start with tomorrow instead of going all the way to Thursday. But
Yeah.
tomorrow, definitely don't want to skip past that because yeah, tomorrow is going to be our special year-end edition of What's Up Wednesday. So there's going to be a bunch of special recognition. There's going to be a bunch of giveaways. Some of those giveaways will include some MagHealy cases, which are amazing. And then also we've got a bunch of guest speakers that are going to be on the call as well. There's a lot of festive mood. Everyone's going to be kind of dressed up for the occasion. We're actually going to do one more kind of a short What's Up Wednesday next week, but this is our last big one, the kind of year end celebration. So definitely join us at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for that. Um, but yeah, as Ken was talking about, we have a special Healy for Beginners and Beyond on Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So, our most popular Healy for Beginners and Beyond of the year was the one we did back in March on quantum entanglement, kind of how to do a remote session with the Analyze app. And we decided we're going to end the year kind of on that topic as well. A great way to kind of close 2023. So we're going to talk about again quantum entanglement, the information field, sort of the history of that, and how the Healy technology utilizes those things in order to do things such as like the analysis via the Analyze app using the physical noise generator inside of the Healy device. We've been kind of trying to put this together over the last week or so, and we've got a great lineup for everybody. I'll just share my screen.
Yeah,
So I'll
by the
kind
way,
of just yeah, I'll go ahead.
if you guys really want to know how Healy works, like if you ever had to try to explain how Healy works to somebody, you're like, I don't, some of this is mystery, some of this is magic, some of this is, maybe feels like science fiction, but we're going to actually show you and talk to you about I call it the nuts and bolts, right? And then get a
Yeah.
clearer understanding about what happens inside Healy and how it interfaces with the information field. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, it's I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And we're gonna kind of go through. Ken, of course, will be there guiding us along, and then also for those of you that saw the What's Up Wednesday back in September, we have Sonia Tarita from Spain. She's actually a veterinary frequency therapist, but she's been doing a lot of group resonance analysis recently and having some great success with that. And we're going to kind of just show in general how this is all connected, how quantum entanglement, the information field, the Healy device, the Healy technology allows you kind of do some of these things. So it's for those of you that may have been with Healy for a while, all of us have a kind of a different perspective on this, a different way of understanding and learning about it. So you're going to hear from Ken, you're going to hear from Sonia. I'm going to share some things that I found as well. Just doing some research that might, maybe some things that you didn't know before or didn't really think about it that way before. So we're going to go through that, and then we're going to do actually a live demonstration. So Sonia is going to go through, and we'll have the ability for everyone to be on camera, take that group picture via Zoom, and she's actually going to do a resonance analysis, and she's going to vibrate some programs for all of us that are on the call, and just kind of give an example of some of the things that she does as well over there in Spain and really around the world. So it's going to be kind of a unique opportunity. Definitely, of course, join live to be part of this live experience. And again, it's at 3 p.m. Eastern this Thursday, December 21st. Close the year, our last Healy for Beginners and Beyond of 2023. And definitely spread the word, and let's get as many people as possible on this call.
I agree. So, like Jake said, a special treat to have an overall group analysis. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to miss it. And not only that, there'll be a bit of an opportunity for each one of you to feel the shift from the beginning to the end. Just a little hint.
Yeah,
All right,
for sure.
guys. I love it. Okay, so I was just there is a question here. Well, a statement. Um, that about this call and who can attend. So what I like to offer folks is that what we're talking about here is the technology, the systems, the apps, everything from the Americas perspective. And sometimes that's a bit different in other countries. So it would maybe look a little different in some of the examples, but most of the questions we get here are global. I mean, would pertain to anyone from anywhere in the world. So if you've got folks that are in other countries, this call is designed for the Americas. However, the way that the hardware works, and most of the questions that we get would apply to almost anybody.
Yeah, but as far as there's no limitations on our Zoom account that prevents someone from other countries. We have people. I think last week we had somebody from Australia
Mm-hmm.
on the call.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. There's nothing specific to YouTube or to Zoom or to our account that would prevent anybody from joining, as far as I know, unless there's some sort of
Mm-hmm.
local restrictions on someone's internet provider or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, no, I get it. Sometimes some of the calls, may seem like they're just for the US, but I mean, these recordings are available globally, so anybody can access them from the YouTube page. Um, it just happens to say Healy Americas, but again, even the content that we're going to be talking about Thursday, right? Because our presenters are not just US, right? So, okay, do we have any questions? Um, as he says, nice hat. Thanks. Thanks. Yeah. I'm feeling festive. I'm
That's right.
feeling.
That's right.
All right. So I did address that, Lindley, when there's maybe some presentation out there that it's just for the Americas. But yeah, definitely invite your New Zealand, Australia. If they're, let's see, what time of day is it? Afternoon, I think maybe for them. Yeah. Okay. I don't see any questions, Jake.
I know.
Kind
I
of a
think
quiet crowd.
everyone ran out of questions. Oh, so speaking of questions, so I was kind of going through and just looking at some of the stats for 2023, what we've sort of done here on Tech Tip Tuesday, Healy for Beginners and Beyond. And so we've actually, in 2023, we've discussed on this call, Healy for Beginners and Beyond, over 1,000 different questions and topics that we so we've done 42. This will be the 43rd Tech Tip Tuesday of the year. So we try to do this every week, but sometimes scheduling doesn't allow it. But for the most part, 43 out of 52 is pretty good percent there. So the amount of information, topics, questions we've been able to discuss and answer on this call really just in a year is pretty amazing. So that's why, it's so valuable for, of course, we want as many people as possible to join live because that's when you get to ask the questions that you have. But we know, there's thousands of people watching the recordings on this YouTube channel as well. It was something I was going to mention some of these things on What's Up Wednesday tomorrow, but we've had over 35,000 unique viewers on our Healy World America's YouTube page in 2023. So there's a lot of people watching it. We don't help, hundreds of people each week on this call live, but there's hundreds of people each week watching these recordings, sometimes even more than that. And that's what's, it's important to help spread, our experiences, troubleshooting tips, ways to get the most out of your Healy device. So, and
I
thank
wish
you all for being a part of it.
I wish we had some stats as to how many solutions we provided over the,
Yeah,
right? I mean, that would
yeah,
be super cool to
yeah.
have some stats about that. I think that, I mean, there's a lot because we do solve mysteries pretty much every call. So let's just say we had one per call. There's at least
Mm-hmm.
43.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's many. And then we don't know how many from the recordings, that people,
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
I
No.
do get feedback from folks in the field that say, hey, I learn stuff every time I'm there.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate that. Um, but we do have a question, a little bit of a question. So is it okay to do a bioresonance analysis remote vibrate session without the client's image? So I like this question because we've actually talked about this a bit before in relation to like a GPS signal. Okay, so when you set up a client, now remember, what can we have for clients, folks? A person, a pet, a plant, an organization, a group. In fact, that's what we're going to be talking about on Thursday, a group, right? So we can do an analysis on many things, a car, a building, right? So we can do an analysis on anything that we can put a attention on. Okay, so how do we place attention somewhere? Well, just go with your own observation skills. When you look at something, what are you doing? You're putting your attention on it, and that's just the visual cortex, right, of the mind. If that attention that you're wherever you're placing your attention is where you place your energy, and this is the whole concept that we're going to be talking about in terms of quantum entanglement. Where you place your attention is where you place your energy. What we need to do with Healy to do a scan of any kind is we need to put Healy's attention on a specific energy field. Okay. And this is why when you're setting up a client, there's certain content that needs to be placed in there. Now, the more content you have, the relevance here is the more content you have, the more precise the attention. If you just have a name, okay, well, let's just say you just have a first name and your name happens to be Joe. There's a lot of Joes probably out there, and not just male or female, but both, right? So when you place your attention on Joe, or you're asking Healy, place your attention on Joe. And so Healy's going to go, okay, which one? And it's going to place the attention on all of them. And if you're doing a scan within the, say, the resonance analysis or the aura analysis, and that's the client's name, just Joe, it's going to really place the attention on a broad scan, a broad spectrum. And you're going to get feedback from a broad resource. Now, here's the other part, though. The person who is doing the analysis, in other words, you're the one setting up the person, the client, your attention is on one specific Joe, correct? So that helps to pinpoint Healy, because Healy is working with the consciousness, not just yours, but the client's consciousness. And so that's going to help direct it. So to the question here, can we do an analysis without a picture, without an image? Yes. It's just the more content you put in there about the client, the more precise the location of, or where Healy's placing its energy. You're weeding out all the other Joes. Okay. Does that make sense?
I think so. Yeah, that's great advice. That particular situation, and yeah, a question that comes up quite a bit as far as what information should be in there or must be in there.
You know, I mean, you don't necessarily, there's a place for a cell phone number or a phone number and an email address. You don't really need all that, but there are some very basic important pieces. And an image is one of the important pieces. An image is captured, no different than, say, doing a remote healing without Healy, like maybe a Reiki system or some other energy healing modality, where a practitioner is asked to do a healing on someone. What's the first thing they need? Who? Where am I placing my healing? Where am I placing my energy and channeling the field's healing vibrations to? Where am I sending it? So they're going to need some content. Yes. So Healy's the same thing. And the more content you give them, and of course, a picture is a great one, the better the actual focus is. And the what I call the UPS. There's a GPS, which is a global positioning satellite. Well, what Healy's using is a universal. The whole universe is positioned into one client. So an image, a first and last name, because we're narrowing the field, where someone was born, because geographically that's important content. The environment signals the gene, folks. I'm going to tell you a little about epigenetics. The environment signals the gene. So that environmental influence is going to build this body. So where they were born is kind of important stuff. When they were born is an astrological content. Yes. So now we're starting to get some of the universal positioning. A gender is always awesome. Put that in there, because how many Joes are there? Both male or female. And now we got a really clear signal where the attention of Healy is going to be placed. Make sense?
Yep.
All right. All right. Thank you, Izzy. You guys are amazing. I did not pay her. I don't pay her. I love you. Thank you.
I did. I actually paid her. So.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks, Izzy. Yeah. Okay. So a good question here. Is the MagHealy database and the Analyze app any use to us if we don't own a MagHealy? So great question. So we get this question quite a bit, also related to the watch. A lot of people ask the question, if I don't own a Healy watch, are the watch programs that come back as a result, and sometimes in the Analyze app when doing a resonance analysis, are they any benefit to me as well? So, you know, uh, the idea here is that you can vibrate these programs via the Analyze app into the information field, but then also if you do own the MagHealy, you can then go run those top programs with the MagHealy itself with the Healy app. So as far as is there any use, I would say it wouldn't be in there if there was no use to you. You know, we don't are just putting programs in there that have zero benefit. You know, it wouldn't be part of the database essentially if it had no use to you. Ken, what would you say about?
Yeah. So here's the cool thing. So Healy has, let me just give you some stats. This little guy right here has a bandwidth of frequency transmission between 0.5 hertz and 1 million hertz. 1 million. Now, that gets broken down into hundredths of a hertz. So, in other words, over 9 million different frequencies available to this little guy, right? Now, I'm not saying just this little guy, but I'm just saying that the Healy resource pool, over 9 million different frequencies available. And so some of these frequencies are um, the bioresonance feedback from the watch, right? When you wear the watch, it gives content, certain biorhythmic content to the app, and then the app uses that to help choose programs, right? And within that watch module, there are several more programs different than within any of the other editions. It doesn't mean that they are completely separate from the frequency resource pool of some of the other programs. It doesn't mean that. It just means they utilize those a little bit different in sequences. Okay. So when the database reveals that you need something from a watch program, from a watch module, then it just means that the frequencies in there might be a little more unique, a little more effective, a little more necessary for your development, for your alignment, for your energetic expression in its best form. Okay. No different than the MagHealy. The MagHealy, the reason those databases are there available to those scans is so that you can, I highly suggest that you use the various databases and then build yourself these amazing, what I call recipes, right? And of frequencies, because they're going to be a little bit different. And do the experiment with yourself to find out. I mean, if you've only been using one section of Healy, branch out, branch out, right? Try some of these other databases and see, because if we keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, that's kind of what the definition of crazy is. Yes. So
Yeah.
expand out into some of the other databases, test them out, and know that they're there for a very specific reason, like Jake said, because they have some slightly unique components to them based on my description, right? That makes sense? All
For
right.
sure. Yeah.
Okay. So Lindley's saying that the recordings are very helpful. That's awesome. And that you share them with people in New Zealand and Australia. Love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Um, let's see. So Trudy's asking, when you export the results from an aura analysis, how large is the file? Sometimes the file is too large for the receiver. I agree. I don't know the exact size of the file, but a lot of times it's too big to text to someone, meaning it's probably more than 2 GB, and or the format of the file. Now it should be a PDF, right? So PDFs are some of the PDFs are fairly large, but it's I don't know exactly the size of the file.
You know,
Jake,
I was curious about that because I've exported some of those before, but I've never really paid attention to the file size. I was just going back through some of the ones I have saved on my iCloud drive, and they're actually the ones that I have. Maybe it can differ quite a bit, but mine are in the 1 to 2 MB, so very
okay.
a reasonable size that would be simple to text or email, that kind of thing. So I'm wondering
Oh, I said gigabytes,
what.
didn't I? I did not mean gigabytes. I meant two.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. No, two.
Yeah. So as far as being able to email, I don't know of any email servers or systems that wouldn't allow something, in that size to go through. Typically, it's at least like a 7-8 megabyte or something like that before some limit might kind of come into play there. But something
Yeah.
in the 1 to 2 megabytes should be fine. If you save it to your phone or to your either your iCloud drive or Google Drive, something like that, you can see the actual file size. It'll tell you how big that file is, so you can kind of see whether it's something that if it's something with the file size itself, or maybe it's something the way that it's being sent or emailed, as far as it being an attachment or in some other method as far as the way it's being sent.
Yeah. The sometimes the other end user, sometimes they have security protocols on board to limit file sizes because
Mm-hmm.
of viruses and stuff. But that might be something that the end user would need to know. You would need to know some of the things about their, not just their email portal, but also their Wi-Fi or their data transfer portals. I know there's some security settings on certain mobile devices that are fairly strict, and so file sizes get restricted or get reduced. Um, but a lot of times an email works fine. That's just a matter of the bandwidth of, think about what's going on first of all, wherever you are, and whenever you're trying to send this file. So whatever you're attached to, in other words, with your smart device, and you're maybe trying to do a data stream with your service, your provider, and the signal is low, right? So that's going to restrict it. That's the bottleneck. Anything that is whatever the slowest component to your system is, that's going to be the bottleneck. And that's going to restrict and maybe time out the actual transfer of the file. That not necessarily that the file is too big, but it times out in terms of trying to send. Okay. So that could be bandwidth with your smart device and the signal you're on, or the Wi-Fi you're on, especially if you're on a Wi-Fi in a public area. And it gets shrunk down. The bandwidth of each user gets shrunk down based on the number of users. So if you're somewhere where there's 50 users, and the bandwidth of their overall service is low, you're going to get restricted. And so you won't be able to send big files, even 1 megabyte. Okay. All right.
I like this. This is not a question; it's a comment, but from Trudy, so excited about Thursday because I'm asked how does the Healy find a client doing a resonance analysis, and says I say I'm not a quantum physicist. Yeah, yeah, definitely join us on Thursday. And I'm not a quantum physicist either, um, but we're going to share some very helpful information and resources as well. We'll discuss a few things and then also show you where to get additional resources to learn more about how this whole thing works.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's some, again, we're going to talk about, your resources are so vast now with the Healy Academy, and of course the YouTube pages and stuff. Gosh, it just keeps growing. So maybe some of you guys attended the What's Up Wednesday on December 6th, not last week, the week before. Martin Whitman talking about the information field, essentially the noise generators, some certain
Mm-hmm.
hardware, some stuff. Great content, by the way. And that's on the YouTube page. So you can go back and take a look at What's Up Wednesday, look at that particular playlist, go down to December 6th, and his segments are in there and the presentation. Great stuff.
Yeah, and we'll share actually that link. We have a slide with a QR code that takes you straight to that segment, and we'll share that on Thursday too. So
Excellent. And take a look at the chat, by the way, you guys. Christian's putting in there some content about how you can share other sharing platforms you can send these files and such.
mm-hmm.
So thank you very much for putting that in there. And by the way, guys, if you're finding stuff in the chat that's useful and you want to save that at the end of our call, I remind everybody about this almost every time. If you're on your PC or laptop, down there in the area where you put your chat, right next to the little smiley face, there's 3 little dots. Tap on those, click on those, and it will give you a save chat little dialogue there. And when you do that at the end of our call, guess what? You'll get a little pop-up that says save chat, and you can save it on your hard drive or your device, not your smart device, but remember, laptop or computer. All right. Are we all caught up there, Jake?
There's another comment related to this, the exporting of the aura analysis. It says it was so much easier when we could send them straight to the person's email. So I mean, as far as I know, I have my Analyze app open right now. I'm looking at one of the past aura analysis, and for me, I can do that directly through the results. When you click on the heading at the top, there's a little arrow pointed down, and for on an iPhone at least, it brings up three options. It brings up it has the file name, the aura recording, and it says PDF document. It actually says the file size right there too. And then there's an option to save to files and the option to print. So if you're looking to just email it directly to somebody or to yourself, whatever, don't click save to files, don't click print. In that very top section where it kind of has a picture and has the file name and it mentions PDF document, to the far right, there's a little square box with an arrow pointed up. When you click on that, that opens up the option to text it, to email it, whatever you want to do there. So unless I'm missing something, unless there's something different but it should all be there as an option. Once you click that arrow pointed down to bring up the option to save or print, you can also email directly from there too. So
yeah, if you guys want to try this experiment, just go to your resonance analysis, go to the history.
You can see what your rather than, I'm not going to share the screen, but I think you can just see here, if we can get close enough. But we have that very top part. There's a box with an arrow right next. This isn't maybe I should just share my screen, but you'll see save the files, you see print, but right above that, you click that box with the arrow pointed up. That will open up the window to email or text it directly to somebody in your contacts, or just type in the email address there as well.
Yeah, wherever you have your analysis, whether it's an aura analysis or a resonance analysis, there's an export function or send function. That little arrow thing is like a send or an export.
Yeah, I mean, it does the way it's displayed. It does kind of look like there's only two options below that, but that very first one is an option as well to be able to send it. So. Okay, great. Yeah, Lindley just mentioned she didn't realize that. So perfect.
Yeah, there you go. So here's my advice. When you know how I do get folks, I'm an engineer, technical engineer, electronics engineer. And so that kind of stuff, whether it's high voltage, low voltage, light signals, bandwidth, all that stuff doesn't scare me. Right. So when I'll get in there and I'll mess with something, and well, hey, in college, we used to say, when you let the smoke out of something, that means it's done. Right. So when it goes poof, that means it's broken. Right. But until then, keep pushing buttons. You'll find it. I mean, you're not going to break it. The app is pretty resilient. You're not going to break it, but you might discover things. And Lindley, I'm going to not read your challenge there. I'm going to not read that, because that challenged statement is a way of putting energy into an intent.
Let's just say you're still learning technology.
I'm advancing technologically every day.
A student of technology.
I am advancing at in regular intervals.
That's right. I'm learning something new every day related to technology.
Here's the thing I want to talk about too. Tell you something. We don't have any questions right now. I'll tell you something. We're going to breach this a little bit. We'll talk about a little bit of this on Thursday. But um, when it comes to digital technology, that's everything. That's your smart device, the apps that run on it, your computer, even nowadays, anything that's digital. So your microwave, your toaster. I mean, so much things out there are digital, and they have what's called an IC system, integrated circuits. They're very low power, using silicon conductors and all kinds of cool stuff. But the point is it's very low power. And when you transmit low power, low voltage, I mean, we're talking in the millivolts. When you're transmitting that small amount of energy, it is susceptible whenever you have a wire or energy moving from one point to another in a conductor, it is susceptible to magnetic waves. Now, I want to tell you something about your thoughts. Every time you have a thought, it's electrical energy going through a synaptic connection in your brain. It emits magnetic waves. Now, think about this for a second. There's studies, there's proof, there's scientific studies that show that a thought influences digital processing. A thought influences digital processing. This is called intention. And this digital processing, the influence, can create failures. So when you believe and you have thoughts around the inability to operate digital electronics or technology, you're putting a signal like a radio station up on the hill, and you tune in on your radio a certain station. Exactly that exact same thing is happening with your computer. It's tuning into your thoughts, and your thoughts are breaking the program. Think about it.
Yeah.
So if you want more information on that, just Google the studies around the thought influence on technology. Crazy fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that computers and such are built with shielding. If you ever took one apart, I don't recommend it if you've never done it. There's a lot of shielding around high-speed transmission lines, such as data transmission internally, even the Wi-Fi signal coming into your house. Once it's in your house and then transmitted wirelessly, it's a magnetic signal that's a little bit different. But when it comes in, there's shielding around the coax or the fiber optic cable, or even the landline. There's shielding around that to keep from other interference, other magnetic signals interfering. So that's the reason why. All right. Do we got any other questions, Jake?
No, not yet. So let's see what else we can cover here.
I love the new statement. Definitely advancing technologically. Thanks. Yep, you are advancing. All right. I don't see any other questions. I think we're caught up.
I think we are too.
Those of you that aren't part of the Telegram group, I know most of the US, we do have a Healy Telegram group called Team Healy USA. That's where a lot of the calls and such are put out. But there's also a scheduler available for all you guys, that you could take a look at that. Let's see. Can we put the link in the chat?
For Telegram group?
Our calendar. Yeah.
Oh, the calendar. Yeah.
Calendar. Yeah, because here's why. Because the calendar is a super cool device that where you go to the calendar, you can actually click on each one of those events is a link. You can click on it and bam, you're right there. So if you panic and go, I can't find the link to Tech Tip Tuesday. I know. I panic all the time. You just go there, click on the link, it takes you right here. That way you never miss one.
Okay, there we go. Got the link there.
Healy America's events calendar.
Events.com.
Yeah. All right. And by the way, save these links, guys, because that's another resource. I have I use my smart device, my phone. It's pretty much my business. I'm very mobile. I'm all over the place. And so I have files and systems in my smart device, essentially, that help me access things quickly, right? So if you, depends on what operating system you have note sections within your smart device. Now, just be cautious that when you start adding a lot of content to your smart device, it does consume memory. And we've talked about this before, where folks are having challenges with some of their apps functioning properly, the Healy apps, especially because the Healy apps are fairly resource hungry apps. You know, what that means is they want to have a lot of available resources on the smart device to function. And so when you start using up a lot of memory in your smart device, it starts to take available resources away from the app, and you could have some glitches and things. So my recommendation is to have at least 25% of your total memory on your device available at all times. All right. So, but again, it's still a great device to have, quick references and things. If you're mobile, some people use their computer more so because there's better access than stationary. The only reason I'm stationary right now is because I'm on the call with you guys. I've done a couple in the past, by the way. I think we've done some remote locations
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the past. Yep. When I might be in an event somewhere. I've even had some guest speakers. Sometimes Jake can't make it. And
Yeah.
so had some guest talent helping out in the background.
Yeah. Ken, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to just highlight a few things on the Healy World official YouTube channel, because there's, just like there's been a lot of new content for Healy World America's channel on YouTube, the Healy World official page also has a ton of content. This is the official kind of global channel for Healy World. But if you go to this page here, a couple of key things. There's some new stuff on the Meridian module, which is great. Reminder, the Healy World meets the world. There's an exclusive online event that happens on January 9th, sort of the kickoff for the whole year. And you can get tickets, early bird tickets right now, I believe through the end of the year, but those are available. The link is on this page here. But one of the really cool things are these new, it's the section called Shorts. And this is just kind of short video product testimonial type content. And if you just go to that section, almost every day there is some sort of a new one of these added. You see, this section only started, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, a little bit more. But you'll see here, there's a ton of content here. It's amazing. There was a period of time where we were struggling to get any content available, as far as these types of testimonials, user experiences, that kind of thing. Now there's so much available on this page, and something new added almost every day. So these are very cool. They're very short little clips here, a lot of fun to watch. And then also, for anybody that's ever wondered how they watch or how they can access Healy Horizons or the Resonance podcast, those are once a month meetings, and with different content. And if you go to the Healy World official, and at the top menu here, go to the live section, and you'll see here we have all of the past Healy Horizon. The one that this was just from last week, the last episode for the year, Harmony and Festive Holiday. So very cool stuff. And then you'll see here there's some other special things called out here, different interviews, different podcasts. But if you want to watch it live, you go to this section, go to the live section. You'll see it when it's actually happening live. You'll see a little sort of highlighted box of where to go. And then if you miss it, all the recordings are available in this live section too. So very cool stuff, great information. And then of course, there's playlists here as well for all the different sections and stuff. But yeah, definitely, we put all of our content as far as these meetings, Tech Tip Tuesday, Healy for Beginners and Beyond, What's Up Wednesday, those types of things on our Healy World Americas channel. But Definitely don't miss out on the Healy World official page as well, because there's so much great content there too.
I use that Healy World officials because there's trainings in there too. They're putting the some of
Uh-huh.
the trainings from the academy are also in
Yeah.
there, by the way. And sometimes it's a quick just to grab those and send them as opposed to log in and go and grab them from there. But so yeah, another great quick resource for that. And by the way, folks, hit that subscribe button
Yep.
and then click on the notifications so that, as Jake was saying, when these live things pop up, you'll get a notification.
Yeah, you'll have a little notification up here in the top here if there's a new video added. So, and with all the videos being added almost every day, you'll see a little red notification there at the top.
You get a little ping every all the
Yeah.
time. Yeah, and that testimonial one is super valuable because
Hmm.
how many of you guys understand or have networking experience, right? You better all raise your hand because the reason is that you network with somebody every day, whether it be a family member, a pet, a spouse, a partner, whatever. You're always networking, and oftentimes we use a what we would call an association. Like for instance, I'm giving you one right now when I say like for instance, it's an association. But let's say that we're trying to convince our partner, hey, I want to go out to dinner and I want Italian tonight, and they're like, well, and so you start putting some associations on. Remember when we went to that one Italian restaurant? It was so delicious and amazing. Now you're networking, right? You're promoting, you're marketing this particular location. Well, that whole point of the testimonials is that you may come across somebody that has a condition or an issue, and you may see one of those testimonials that address that, right? And they will give you content that you could share. So great networking tool, I guess you might say.
Hmm.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right. Gosh, we're all caught up. Are we gonna knock off early tonight or what? It's like we
I don't know. I mean, that would be a first of the year.
it would be a
Yeah.
first for sure. I
I
mean,
think I think everyone's saving their attention and excitement and participation for maybe for Thursday
right?
or figuring out what they want to wear for What's Up Wednesday tomorrow.
Yeah, don't forget to be festive, you guys.
Yeah.
Join us and be festive. Now, the Thursday event is going to give you the opportunity to be on camera. And the
Yeah.
reason for that is because remember what I said earlier about where we place our attention is where we place our energy. And so, same thing with Healy. We're placing Healy's attention through the practitioner on you. And so, we want to be able to see you, even if it's just your hand, right? You
Yeah.
got your hand up there. What's on our hand, on our fingertips, right? Our fingerprint. Yeah. So even if you don't want somebody to see your face, maybe you just got out of bed, you're in your PJs, whatever. Still, that's going to be cool.
Yeah, and same for What's Up Wednesday tomorrow. That meeting is typically in a webinar format, which means you can only see the sort of the host and co-host, that kind of thing. But for tomorrow, we converted that back over to a meeting format. So we'll be able to see everybody tomorrow. That's why we wanted everyone to kind of dress up festive and be on camera and participate in kind of the year-end celebration.
Exactly. Exactly. It'll just be fun. See, look at there's
Yeah,
Izzy. How you
there's Izzy.
doing?
Yeah.
You guys are always invited to be on camera here too, if you like. I
Yeah.
mean, there's no rules that say you can't. We just keep everybody muted so that it's easier. We don't have any background noises, and we got a good clean recording, and we be able to share that content. So,
Yeah.
and it's just easier to take and address piece by piece within the chat.
Hmm.
So we can keep that, like I said, the recording clean and sequential. When it comes to converting these over to hyperlinks and things like that, it's nice to be able to
Hmm.
have that sequential information.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Um, well, Christian, if you want to add anything to the chat as a little extra bonus for somebody, let me ask you this, Christian. I'm going to ask you this, and maybe you put something in the chat. The most asked question, frequently asked question, or most the most struggle that someone or the topic that's the most challenging just this week? Well, let's go for the last 7 days. What
Yeah.
might that have been? If you can put something in the chat, let's just maybe see what some of the other people are having challenges with. I'd love to hear it or
Yeah.
read it.
Yeah.
Jake, do you know any of that? Do you know you get any stats on what people are struggling with from the customer?
Uh, I mean, it varies depending on the time of the month, because a lot of times near the end of the month, there's the heaviest topics are related to promotions or logging in to the shop, or using the referral link, that kind of thing. But as far as in general, of course, the Healy, we have by far more Healy devices out there than anything else. So we get the standard questions related to connection issue, or battery reset, battery life, what's normal, what's not. Because yeah, a lot of people, maybe someone else is running programs at 30% intensity on their device, and they're running programs that are only 30-40 minutes long. It's okay, I can run 12 programs before before I need to recharge my Healy. But then someone else might be running 100% intensity, 60 minutes, or longer programs, and they're getting half that, maybe even less. So yeah, that's certainly a question. Battery life and how that works, and what's normal, what's the proper way to kind of keep that maintained, so to speak. So
That's a great point too for everyone to understand that there is a battery in here, right? It is battery operated. This is why you recharge it. And a battery, look at it as like a pail of power. It's got a certain amount of like a pail, like a pail of water. It's a pail of power, and it does have a certain amount. And so if you poke a small hole in it and the water leaks out very short or very slow rate, then the discharge rate is slow. So that would be likened to, say, as Jake mentioned, your intensity is only at 20%, right? Or 30%. But if you poke a big hole in it, the water runs out much faster, like running your Healy at 100%. And then, of course, the length of time, when if you put your finger over the hole, you stop the water running out, right? So it only leaked for a little bit of time, likened to a short program versus a long program. So just look at it that way, as the consumption of that battery is going to be at whatever rate in which you're pulling, the program is pulling from that resource. And now with, like, if you're running just the HealAdvisor app, the blue app, there's really no current flow through the wires, right? So it's going to last much longer when you're running it from the information field. So whether you're doing analysis, or you're doing vibrate mode, or you're sending the reports to the clients, because even sending the reports to the clients does not consume any battery power from the Healy. You're using your app and your smart device to do all that work. It's not really consuming battery power from the Healy. And the battery, when the Healy's just on and it's not really doing any work, it has a very long standby time. So, when the blue light's just flashing, it lasts, mine will last days if I'm just in standby mode, meaning I'm not actually running anything.
mm-hmm.
So, all right. So I love this comment about a client loves her MagHealy. Said she is productive but relaxed after doing the chakra balance. See, that's great testimonial. Get her on the YouTube page and do a little video.
Christian put a great tip in here. You asked for what types of issues are kind of popping up, and he mentioned with the HealAdvisor Analyse 2 app, so the newest app that was released a few months ago, when they go to do an analysis, it tells them that the program isn't connected to the device, or they get directed to the Healy Shop to purchase the module. And in some cases, this is because they were connected to a different Healy device at some point. So you have to actually, for the proper modules to show up or to be connected for that particular analysis, you have to actually connect to your Healy device first, and then that will make sure everything that's displayed is the proper, or that your device has actually access to at that point.
Yeah, my recommendation when you're opening the Blue app, now you don't need to be connected to a Healy, right? To open
Yeah.
it and to take a look at things like you want to look at your history and all that kind of stuff. My
Yeah.
suggestion is that you go up, when you open it, you go up to the top right of the screen. There's that little picture of the Healy up there. Tap on it, and then if you're connected, it'll show you. If you're not, it'll show you what device you're connected to. If you're not, you have to click on search for devices, right? And then it's going to search for the devices that it has been connected to lately. And then you can pick, if it hasn't been connected to one at all, you're going to have to search and then scan the Healy, and it'll find it. And then the serial number will pop up and you can tap on that. But if it's been connected to multiple Healys, you're going to have a list, or MagHealys, right? It's going to have a list there, and you choose one. And once you choose one, you connect to it. Now you've kind of forced a connection, so that when you go and do an analysis or you do any functional thing that's using the Healy as an interface, it already has an established connection. And if you still get some kind of report like that, then we've got a flaw. We have something that's not activated or something wrong with the app. But this is a way you force a connection between the app and your hardware, right? And the cool thing about that too, by the way, when you open that Blue app, the Advisor app, at the top of the screen, you see, your little icon of you on the left, and on the other side, you'll see a little icon of the Healy, and it'll be red. Like the Bluetooth icon will be red when it's not connected to anything, or it'll be green when you are. So that's actually a quick visual reference to show you, yes, I am connected to a Healy. And then, if you start doing a scan and it's not your Healy, I mean, that's happened to me before. We have a room full of Healys, right? And you're connected to somebody's, that's not, yours. Especially when I'm doing analysis with other people's hardware, and because I might be connected. When I open my list of connected Healys, there's maybe a whole bunch of them there, right? And so I can connect to any one of them, irregardless if it's mine or not. Okay. So thanks, Christian, for that information. I love it because, we've had this question before on Tech Tip Tuesday. And I get little personal messages too. Sometimes people say, "Hey, I was directed to the shop. What's up with that?"
Yeah.
Well, that's because it's not showing that you own the product.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Super helpful. All right, guys. Just a couple minutes left. Any last minute comments, questions?
We covered everything. Well, reminder, of course, tomorrow 1 p.m. Eastern for What's Up Wednesday, and Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern for Healy for Beginners and Beyond.
And you guys invite other, if you have folks in other countries that can get there on that timeline, invite them. They'd probably learn something too.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. I mean, we're open. We're a global company, right? We may have local rules and regulations, but we still are a global company. So, and compliance is worldwide. We just want to make sure we're compliant.
Yeah. So, and this is the last Tech Tip Tuesday for 2023. We are not having this next Tuesday on the 26th, but you will see us tomorrow and you will see us on Thursday. So this isn't farewell for the year. It's farewell till tomorrow.
Exactly. Thank you guys for being here. Jake, thank you for all your help. Happy holidays, everyone. Christian, thank you for your participation in the background. I always love having a live customer service agent back there. I tell you, it really makes me feel good and supported, because you guys rock. I must tell you, if I could come over and visit you guys and take you out to lunch, I mean, you're on the other side of the coast, but one of these days, okay? How about that? All right, guys. Thanks, everybody. Have a good evening. Enjoy your Christmas time. See you tomorrow. I'll see you Thursday. Bye, everybody.